don't know what that is. What do you guys think that is?
My business has taken off like crazy since I started. My first year, I did like 200 grand. Second year, 200. Third year, 1.5.
So I went from making $300 the first year to $200,000 last year. Not only that, I've been doing it part-time. All the work is on the weekends.
There's days we go out and make 1,000. There's days we go out and make 3,000. It depends on the job we're doing, how many jobs we're doing that day. There's been days where we've made upwards of like $6,000 to $8,000 in one day. How much you want to hustle? You know, if some guys might be okay going out and making a couple $100, we go out and maximize our profits for the day.
You have to be ambitious. You have to hustle. Nobody's going to give you anything. That's the mentality that you have to have. And, you know, being good looking too always helps as well. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Yeah. You're talking about KJ, right?
Yeah, talking about that guy.
If you have no budget to start with and you want to get started, go rent a machine for $100 a day and then go wash 5 or 6 driveways and then turn around at the end of the day and buy your own machine. You're looking at $600 to $800 for your equipment, a pressure washer and a surface cleaner. If you're looking to put all of it on a trailer, obviously the cost can go up to $25,000 and it can go up from there.
My first trailer build was around $20,000, which at the beginning I financed it. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that to get started. It's gonna make you money. As long as you're eager enough to get out there and get the work, you're gonna make that money back pretty quickly. This build from start to finish was probably like around 25 grand.
I started out with the biggest equipment that you could get, fortunately for us.
A rig like this would cost you about $65,000, $70,000. But it's a moneymaker, dual moneymaker. You can pressure wash and you can clean trash cans.
I think when you're first getting started, it's safe to start with flat surfaces like driveways and sidewalks and walkways. They're the biggest eyesore in someone's house, so the transformation is pretty dramatic, and there's little chance of you causing damage.
The best services to get started on would be driveways. Go in a neighborhood and look for dirty driveways and offer them a special to clean their driveway. That'll get your foot in the door. We live in Florida, like flip-flops is what I always wanted to wear for a living, you know, so that's where I'm at.
I looked at my market. There was not many people in my area that clean trash cans, and I was like, okay, I can make this work. And my mentality is, okay, they're building and building and building, and that means each house that's getting built is a potential customer. And then one day,
my dad told me to take out the trash and stuff, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. The trash can smells super bad. And I told him that, and then he was like, what about we start a trash can cleaning company? I think we could do that. That sounds pretty easy and stuff, so that's what we did.
First customer, I would say, I'm pretty sure was like friends and family. My wife was out in the field doing the work with me for a good year and a half.
When I think in the beginning, when I used to go out with Josh, people loved that we were a husband and wife duo out in the fields, willing to do that together and grow our business together. We would kind of just grab our skateboards and go into neighborhoods that we decided we wanted to be in. And what we would do at that point is we had a postcard where it had all the different types of services that we offered. And we would evaluate the home and say, okay, their roof is dirty, their sidewalk's dirty, their driveway's dirty. So let's go ahead and just give them a quote for that. And we would check off those services and then give them a total for those services and then just leave it on their door or leave it on their garage. And if someone happened to be out of their home, just like sitting there playing with their kid on the driveway, Josh would go introduce himself and hand the card over. And that's actually what helped us really generate a lot of business in the beginning.
My first customers I got online using social media, just posted in my local neighborhood Facebook page and Nextdoor page. From there, each job that I got, I did what I call a 5-round. For every job that I did, I would leave my card on 5 houses around that particular house. And that's how I started getting business in the neighborhood.
So what I did was I started a Facebook page, got in my neighborhood Facebook group, and offered free cleanings to everyone who wanted to sign up. And then once I did the free cleaning, they signed up, and they've been my customers for 5 years. That's kind of how I got my first customers.
The only chemical we get here is sodium hypochlorite, which is a fancy name for bleach. We call it SH. So in the industry, people say SH, we're talking about bleach basically. We mix it with water and we do that with the mix valve. This is the mix valve here. So we have bleach, soap, and water. And we would just adjust our bleach with this valve right here. In this case, we're looking at 4%, be plenty.
This is where we typically fill up with chemicals. We have spots like all over the county, depending on where we're gonna be working. This is one I fill up with every morning. It's just straight chlorine right now. So that I use that and I mix it, I dilute it down. So I have one tank that's just straight water, one tank that's straight chlorine. We do have more of a soft wash approach. We use a lot more chemicals than super heavy pressure.
We don't use any chemicals. We just use straight hot water, which does a thorough job, and we try to be eco-friendly. You have a good day today?
He picks me up from school. We drive to our first trash can. Then we grab the trash cans, then we pull them to the trailer. And then we press a button so the trailer can grab the trash can. And then we have this sprayer at the top of the machine that sprays the insides of the trash cans. And then we bring them down, and then we spray them with smell good spray, and then we bring them back to the garage.
And that's how a trash can is professionally cleaned by the best company in the United States, Advanced Bin Cleaning. KJ, you did a great job.
That thing's 150 pounds. It doesn't look like it, but it is. All right, so this is a 4-stage water purification, water-fed pole system. The reason this is superior to using squeegees is because when you use squeegees, you're leaving residue on the window that dust can stick to. With a purified water system like this, there is no residue left. And since there's no minerals or impurities in the water, it doesn't leave any spots. So you get a spot-free finish with a water-fed system like this.
What we did here was, it's considered a soft wash. We use no pressure on the roofs at all. It's just strictly a chemical and water mixture, little detergent in there. And all we do is we just let it sit, spray it down on the roof, let it dwell. We don't do any rinsing at all. The shingles or if it's concrete tiles, whatever the material is, will absorb the product. And over time, anytime it rains for the next several months, it'll reactivate the product, continue fighting off the mold. This process works a lot better. It's a lot safer for the roof than using heavy pressure. It's also gonna last a lot longer. It's a lot less damaging to the roof as well. What you saw my helper doing on the ground was keeping all the plants rinsed down, which is very important because those chemicals could potentially burn them. Whether they have gutters or not, we're just saturating the plants very thoroughly.
So we're here at my monthly account. I do 3 dumpsters on this property, get all the stains and stuff that are all on the ground. I get that up, put some degreaser, and get it clean. Each dumpster I charge $150. If you can land some dumpster pads, in a plaza, if you're doing all of them dumpsters in one day, that could be an easy $1,000 in one day.
Some jobs I'll look at and I can just tell how long it's gonna take and I'll price it that way and how much chemical it's gonna take. A lot of jobs I do square footage. On this particular job, the first time I did by square footage, and I've just kind of raised the prices incrementally, throughout the years with the market. Our prices have raised a couple times throughout the years.
The way we came up with pricing per square footage is really set by the industry because you are competing against guys who price that way. Typically, when we give a quote, we do it remotely with Google Earth. We can take measurements.
So you'll see on Google Earth, you can see the driveway, so you can really gauge by the size of the house how big of a driveway it's gonna be, which will help us price it.
And once you've done 100 houses, you're able to recognize which ones can be accurately quoted remotely and those that are going to require a site visit.
So with the bin cleaning, when I first started, I had my monthly at $16.99, right? Cheapest trash can cleaning service in the world, probably. After a while, gas prices had went up, and that was an opportunity for me to send everyone an email, hey, there's gonna be a price increase. It is something that you have to think about. You gotta think it through thoroughly because you don't wanna screw yourself up. And I think that was the thought of like, okay, dang, if I go up, I'm not gonna get all of these customers, but it turns out that people still will use the service as long as you're providing good quality service. There's maggots in trash cans, which is unique to Texas. And for some people, it could gross them out.
We went through this little back alleyway area. It was nasty. Their trash can was gross. I'll just have to think if I just do this and get it over with for today, then tomorrow I'll know I'll be able to do it.
There's not too much overhead. You know, I'm paying for chemicals and fuel and labor.
We don't have need of a warehouse full of inventory. We just buy the product as we need the product, keeping our costs at a minimum. We're using 100 gallons of bleach at a time. When we run out, we fill it up. The one tip I would give someone who's starting out is if there are suppliers in your city who sell to businesses where you can set up an account with them, it's a lot cheaper than buying chemicals from a big box store.
I don't really have much overhead. That's the overhead right there.
The thing is longevity for me. I don't want to have to buy another rig until he's, of age and up and running it. As long as we keep it maintained and, when we do our part, I think the machine will do its part.
Yeah, I think there will be a crazier version of this truck in the future. There's some new pumps that have actually come out that are built specifically for bleach. Bleach is brutal on everything that it comes in contact with. Even the pumps that we use, they have to be changed out on a regular basis. That's just the cost of doing business and pressure washing. Oh, the other thing that I would always recommend, if you're looking at buying a flatbed truck like this, consider aluminum, because bleach will just tear up metal and there's nothing you can do to prevent it. You think you can prevent it, but you can't do it.
So this is one of our newest trailer builds for EcoClean. I try to do as much stainless fittings as I can to, again, try to avoid corrosion from the chemicals. So these are aluminum reels. All the hardware is all stainless. And I do 2 layers of the composite decking. It's non-corrosive, the chemicals aren't gonna eat through it. Our first few trailers, the wood, the chemicals would just, anytime you had a leak, it would slowly drip and just eat away at the wood. So we did away with that. So everything that we do is designed for long-term use. If you're smart about your schedule and you make sure you're scheduling in the same area in that day, that's gonna save you money and fuel.
When I first started, I was gone. I'd be 40 miles and then I'm like, damn, it cost me $30 to get there and 20 to get back or 30 to get back, and then how much did I make? So you have to be always consciously thinking.
On a typical day, if I were to bring in, say, $1,500 in sales, I'm probably gonna put 1,000 of that in my pocket. So a good 30% of your money coming in is gonna go towards overhead costs.
When I first started doing this, I actually did some free jobs, just in exchange for some feedback. I didn't say, give me a 5-star review. I said, just give me some feedback so I can learn the process. I do run into customers on occasion who I like to give a discount to, or they'll help out in some way. They may be having some misfortune they're going through, or elderly people on a fixed income. We like to help those people.
We try not to be too annoying with emails. We might send 1 or 2 emails throughout the year. We might offer a discount through an email. For repeat customers, we'll give them coupons for, hey, take $25 off your next visit.
Yeah, I had a customer call me like 2 weeks ago, actually. They said they had like 40 properties, and I told them if they gave me a bundle of, say, 40 houses, I'd do it for $40 a piece. So that's great savings. He was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure, because he'll always use me again. He'll refer me. And sometimes you take the hit to the next step or the next level.
When I come up to these customers' homes, I always take a look at different things that I may be able to do. They may need their windows cleaned, or even a better example is the driveway cleaning. I could offer that to her, send it to her in a text, or even call and see if I can get that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I don't typically upsell too much. If they're wanting the roof done and the driveway done and the pool deck done, but their walls have mold all over it, I might suggest it because it just makes sense. You're cleaning everything, but you're gonna leave one thing dirty. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, if you see something else that's dirty, give me a price for that too. So that's when I'll kind of do some upselling.
When we show up on site, if we do see those other things, we will talk to the customer and say, we can add that option today if you like. The biggest benefit with using Jobber for me is that I'm able to bundle services. I'm able to offer various add-ons and options, just giving the customer a whole smorgasbord of choices of services, but then we'll bundle them all together for a combined lesser price if they purchase everything.
I think that when I first started out, I was spending money on marketing when I wasn't getting any results. And the best results that we did get were from word of mouth, and him and I out there passing out our flyers, door to door, and just being very aggressive.
Marketing for me is a lot easier proposition than it might be for other people because that's what my background is in. But all of our visibility is driven through search engines, through optimization of the website. for keywords, because even customers don't know whether it's called power washing or pressure washing. The important thing is that your website, when they're looking for you, contains those words on your website. So find out what are the keywords that are driving the most traffic, and there's plenty of tools and resources out there for you to do that. The best tool to use, and it's free, is the Google Keyword Planner tool. Primarily, it's going to be your geographic location plus the service.
We did do marketing a lot at the beginning. We did spend money on Facebook ads. We joined some networking groups, and those all helped us get going in the beginning. Signage, very important for us. It helps us stand out on the road, on the job. People have questions, they can typically get everything they need right here. Go on our website. Our branding is done by my wife herself. She does all that.
It's important that anybody who is actually entering the space have knowledge and experience with social media, also making sure that you have a Google My Business listing and get that verified. The verification is important because it lets customers know that you're a legitimate business. Also, a website is extremely important.
What makes an effective website is that it's able to convert a visitor. If you have all the bells and whistles, but a customer is confused about how to request services from you, then it's really all for naught. So make sure your website is designed to get that conversion.
The best way for you to get a quote from us would be to go to our website. And when you go there, you're gonna see a big button that says get a quote. And it will give you the opportunity to provide all of your job details so that we can look you up via satellite and get you a quote.
The other thing that's real important is what Google calls core vitals. That is, does the website, is it structured correctly? Does it load quickly? And does it load quickly on mobile? That's the biggest thing right there. Google search is primarily mobile first. So when you design your website, design it for mobile first and make sure that it loads quickly. Just by doing that alone, you're over the biggest hump.
I think that spending marketing money is essential early on to get the name out there. You got to be careful with that, because once you're marketing like crazy, you got to be able to handle all of the work that comes in, if it comes in, you know what I mean? And you have to be able to accommodate. You can spend $1 million on marketing, and then next thing you know, you got tons and tons of people, but guess what? You got one person and you can't handle all of that. So you got to be very careful in doing that. Now that we've been in it for 5 years, I don't really do any marketing. I might do a Facebook boost periodically. Other than that, I'm not doing any marketing. ABC, we're out there now. Got the fresh white Pumas on with the fresh white ABC shirt. What? And he gets more tips than anything. Like, the biggest way that we get good business is client relations, keeping a good relationship with our customers, and they take care of us.
When it comes to weather, it makes no difference. Rain or shine, customer comes first. We're here to take care of you.
What tops everything in terms of your perception to the public are your Google reviews. So that needs to be a high priority.
Really what brings us the most business is our Google My Business listing page. Like having 5 stars with over 150 reviews is why people call us.
Make sure that when you're doing your customers, even give them a discount. Say, hey, I'll give you $5 off or $10 off, whatever the job is, and to give me a Google review, because your Google reviews are like your credit in business. The more Google reviews that you have, the better.
We've actually only had Nice Job for about a year now. It's integrated to our Jobber. When we first started, I believe we had something a little bit over 30-something reviews, and now we have over 150 reviews. As soon as we complete a job, it automatically sends emails and text messages to our customers asking them whether or not they were happy with their experience, and if they were, to share a review about us.
We showed up at a job yesterday. The customer assumed that we were going to include the patio, which was not a part of the original quote. So rather than making that an issue, we just said, yes, ma'am, we'll take care of it. We did the patio. At the end of the job, she said, well, can I give you a tip? I said, no, I'll tell you what. Just give us a Google review. Give us your feedback on how we did, and we'll call it even. And we had a 5-star Google review before we even left the neighborhood.
We've definitely gotten bad reviews. It happens in business. And the way that we remedy that is just to address it, not to ignore it, and see if there is a way that we can resolve that issue for the customer.
So far, I've been fortunate enough not to have any bad reviews, but if I did, I would go back to that customer and I would just ask, what can I do to make it right? In hopes that they would just remove the review or at least update the review. So far, I haven't had to run into that, but I have a game plan if it happens, which I do. That's what I would do. I would say, please, let me do something.
I manage my clients by Jobber. Everything that I need to manage the company properly is all in one app.
I ride with my laptop with me. So when I'm waiting to pick up KJ, I can do everything from here, like send invoices, like you can on your mobile device. I got a new customer today. Well, while I was cleaning dumpsters, I got the request, and now I'm just gonna add her into the system, put her on schedule for Friday, and get her cans cleaned on Friday. Super easy.
The way I set myself apart from competitors, from what I've been able to gather from my customers, is the process that the customer goes through. I run all of my business through Jobber. A customer can come to my website, enter their information, and I get the request for quote immediately. I'm able to get that quote back to the customer pretty quick, in which time they can make a decision the same day.
I think Jobber would be a great thing for someone that's first getting started, especially being a new business. Getting paid right away is important. It was to me. It was really hard to wait on payment. We also just integrated financing through Jobber. That's something new that we started using, which is really good as well for those higher ticket jobs.
So Jobber has really allowed us to have a meaningful pulse on what's going on within the business. Before then, we really didn't know until we brought everything to our accountant at the end of the year. But now we're able to actually see what's happening, set goals around that, and then also tell our employees what's happening too. So it's so convenient for them to just be able to get into the truck, open up their app, and see what they're doing for the day.
It's important for me to have my son involved in this business. By the time he's 18, he'll have 15 years experience in pressure wash and trash can cleaning. So he'll be able to take it over and running his own business that he helped build. And it makes me happy that I know that he's on the right track.
It's more about dogged determination than it is about skills, to be honest with you.
You have to have the knack for clean, right? And be able to hold on to a 3,500 PSI, 8 gallon a minute hose for hours on end, which is very, very tough on your body.
I think it's important to be personable. Being organized is very important, having a plan.
It's not rocket science. You're spraying water, you're spraying chemicals. You can learn that pretty quick. You'll make mistakes, but that's okay. You just keep working.